Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Welcome back to the Hull Best podcast with me, Eddie, and our very new show host, Markus, also known as TheHullBoy. Markus, how are we doing?
I am blooming brilliant, mate. How are you?
Yes, I'm on top of the world, mate. I do have to say, guys, I'm very sorry tonight if there's any technical errors or anything because the tech guy isn't here tonight. So, yeah. If anything wrong happens, it's my fault. So I will put my hands up now and I will apologise. I want to start off the show by asking you a question, Markus. Obviously, you're on day 18 now of your 1 mile a day run for mental health. How is it going for you, mate?
You know what? First 2 weeks, my knees were like battered cheese sticks. They were snapped in half, dipped in salsa, mate, honestly. But at the moment, they're all right. It's going okay. I think I've got to a stage now where my legs have sort of got used to it. And I'm just enjoying it. As much awareness as mental health as possible. That's my aim. And I think it's going well.
Good to hear, mate. I mean, I saw that you did your first 5K as well. Was it yesterday? I think it was. So, I mean, how did that go for you?
Awful. I was sweating like, it was awful. It was like someone had put a massive bin bag on me and just filled it with water at the end of it. Absolutely shocking.
Bloody hell. Anyway, moving on to tonight's show, we're going to be doing the live phone-in as per usual, guys. So I'll put the link in the comments for you now, and we will be able to get you in to have a little chat about what's going to be happening over the next few weeks in the run-in to the end of the championship season. What are your thoughts going into the final few games? And we want to hear from you. Just join in. Let us know how you feel. Put some comments in the comment section as well. And also tonight we're going to be doing a special feature, which will be me and Markus are going to be picking our Hull City present team's 5aside team, where both teams are not the same at all. So, and we also want to hear your thoughts on that as well in the comments. So, Markus, without further ado, let's move on to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Let's go. 1 second. Like I said, I'm a bit shaky. I've never done this before. So
let's just wing it. It'll be right.
We should be all right. We should be fine. So give us a bit of an explanation as to why you chose this player, and then we'll reveal the player on screen.
Well, with my squad, I didn't realise that we were doing it by ability, so I've just picked players I like. So that's a bit of a stinker to start with. But honestly, the 5 players, they're just happy chaps, and I'm just happy with them all. Honestly, my goalkeeper is, well, originally you chose yours, so I've gone for Matt Ingram. So I didn't really have a choice, but Matt Ingram, lovely fella. When was it? It was about 2 years ago. I met him before a game. And he's just the nicest, down to earth. And with my dad not being very well, he said, "Look, mate, stay here. I'm going to go get you something." And he gave his gloves to my dad. And I've always loved Matt Ingram from that moment. He's just down to earth. Even when he's not playing, he still has time for the fans. He's still happy. And when he was playing, he wasn't half bad. I feel bad for him, to be truthful.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean, mate. I mean, I've met him on a couple of occasions outside of football. I used to go to this. It's called the Holderness Hunt. It was near Beverley, York way, and he was there with his partner and his child. And I've seen him in all of his farmer gear, and I sort of give him like the nod, this, that, and the other. And he always gives me a smile and his thumbs up and all that. So I have a lot of time for Matt Ingram. I mean, he is a good player. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's come under unwarranted fire over the past few months. Well, the last season especially. And if he does go in somewhere, it'll be sad to see the back of him, I think.
100%.
So
I feel bad.
Also, moving on to your second player, Markus. Do you want to give us a bit of an explanation about him, and then we'll reveal him for you?
Yeah, I've forgotten who I picked. Oh no, I remember. We're all sound. So this player, it means a lot because 3 years ago he was on loan to Pickering Town, which is like my local non-league side, and you don't see many Hull players on loan to Step 9 of English football, and to see him play as a Hull fan. And as someone who loves to watch Pickering Town if Hull aren't playing, to see him, make his first team debut this season, I felt like crying. I've gone for Matty Jacobs. He's just incredible. Now, I haven't really spoke to him a lot. I have spoke to him a few times just to say well done and to tell him that I've been watching him for 4 years, but just the way he's battled through everything. I mean, last season, I think we'll all agree, he's probably on the verge of getting released. I think if Vinagre didn't get an injury this season, we probably would never see Matty Jacobs in a Hull shirt. But he's made his mark. He got his opportunity. And honestly, I wish he starts next season. He's just incredible.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, mate. I mean, I'm in the same school year as Matty. He was at Wolverton and I was at Hunsley. So derby days between the two schools were very good. Funnily enough, my centre half would be against Matty in their defence. So every time I'm at the stadium and I bump into him, it's always nice to have a good catch up with him and see how he's doing. But I have to agree with you. I think he's definitely deserved his place in the starting lineup for me next season, or even on the next few games as well. Let's just see how it goes. So moving on to your third player. Obviously, I'll let you take this one away. Obviously, I want you to explain the story about it, and obviously why you've chosen him as well.
Is this the Turkish or Englishman?
The Englishman, I presume. Let's put him on.
It is Tyler Morton. What a guy. Yeah, well, I just fell in love with Tyler Morton. This is actually a fun story. I met him before our away game against Blackburn last season. And just the nicest guy, the Scousest guy you'll meet. He's just the heavy Scouse accent. You could tell from a mile away who was coming. But I just met him. I just shook his hand. At the time, I didn't know a lot about him, watched him play. And Blackburn fans didn't particularly like him. But from that day when I met him, I was just buzzing. When we signed him, I was over the moon. And basically, I haven't spoke to him since then until last week after the home game. Well, can't remember. It was QPR 3-0. And I was just walking in Hull and I see this guy and he comes over to me and it's Tyler Morton. And he said, "Hiya, mate, how you doing? It's good to see you again." And it was quite mad that he recognised me. It was just... I spoke to him on Instagram a couple of months ago when he was playing for England under the 21s. And he said how much... I'm not going to leak the messages because I'm not like that. But he just said how appreciative he was of the fans. He loves it here. And he's just very, very grateful for all the Hull fans' help and support. And honestly, the nicest guy. So to speak to him and for him to recognise me was genuinely the best moment of my life. Truly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw an article today on Hull Live, not on Hull Live, on Hull City's Twitter that did say that he genuinely did say that the fans and everyone was making him feel so welcome and things like that. And it just shows if the fans are good with you, then you're going to be good with the fans in that sense, And I think it's reciprocated quite well by the story you've just told. It's nice to see, like when you get recognised for doing something that you're doing right now, when it's amazing, to be fair. So
thank you very much.
Hats off to you, and hats off to Tyler Morton as well.
I hope he stays.
I hope he does. I hope we get him back next season. Stranger things have happened. Who knows? We could get him back. So moving on to your other midfielder, we are going with this man right here.
I think it's self-explanatory. He's Ozan Tufan. He's just blooming brilliant. There is a bit of a story behind it. When he signed, when we played Bradford in Cup and lost, we won't talk about that game. But afterwards, I was with my mate and we were walking back to the car, and the Hull players were coming off the bus. So I just go, "Oh, all right, Ozan, good goal." And it was just lovely. And he stopped and chatted. I know he was new, settling in. He probably thought I was some sort of staff member at the time. I was just being happy and smiling. But he said, "Oh, come to the training ground the next week." So I did. And he comes over with his bodyguard at the time, I think it's Adjan's bodyguard, but his best mate. And he signed a shirt for my dad, and he's just given it. And just the nicest guy. A lot of people didn't like Ozan at the time, said he was lazy or whatever. But what he's done for Hull City is just incredible. His determination to get back into fitness and just smash it up this season, it's just inspiring, truly. I'm going to shut my door because my mum's over and I apologise.
No worries. I have to agree with you, mate, as well. I mean, when he first turned up, I think a lot of the Watford fans said, "Oh, why are you signing him? He's lazy, he's this, he's that, this and the other," called him a pig to a dog. And do you know what? He's proved the haters wrong, in my opinion. I mean, he came in last season into a side where a lot of signings didn't really prove their ability. And
100%.
He's come in, played his socks off majority of weeks that he has played. And especially against one standout performance for me this season was the hat-trick against Sheffield Wednesday at home. First home game of the season. Scores an absolute worldie. Sends them off standing to pandemonium. And then obviously the past few weeks against Cardiff, he registered his first assist for the club against Cardiff. And then his second assist. Yeah. I saw something the other day and I was like, oh my God. And then obviously he assisted again, didn't he? For Fabio's goal against QPR, which was another amazing play. And he was just classed with another worldy goal. He's got that in his locker, which I hope he does again on Saturday against his old club. So let's just wait and see. But I think this fifth player is no surprise who your striker is going to be. The clip that has broken the internet. You've had Digger D commented on your TikTok. What more can you ask for? This man right here.
Doesn't need any explanation. I just love him. Honestly, that guy. I know he's come under a bit of fire recently, but you can't knock him. He's just down to earth. When you actually speak to him, I know he's got a bit of a what's the word? No idea. I failed my school, you can tell. Personality on the pitch. People think, oh, he's lazy, he's wherever, he doesn't put commitment in, and he's not passionate. But truly, when you get to know him and when you speak to him, he's just nice. He's just like every other player. He's just happy, chappy, takes time with the fans. And honestly, what he's done for the club, he's arguably the best City player we've had for the last 3 or 4 years. Honestly, it's mind-blowing to watch on the pitch. Not even off the pitch, he's lovely, but on the pitch, he's just, you don't know what's coming out of him. Well, sorry, that was not worded well.
That was a bit of a sus one, that one, Marcus. So that is your 5aside team. So people in the comments, people who are watching now, please be sure to let us know your thoughts on Marcus's team. We're going to get a couple of people into the stream as well tonight. 1 second, if you just bear with me, I will put the link in again because I am completely aware with this all. I've never done this before, so bear with me. Like I said, that is a very strong squad to start off with. The link to join the podcast tonight for the live phone-in, which will probably be in about 10 or 15 minutes time. Please join that link, put some comments in. Let's have a bit of a discussion about what's going to happen this weekend. Do we think that the playoffs are reachable? Obviously, there's other results that need to go our way, this, that, and the other. Marcus, thoughts on what you think is going to happen this weekend?
I think we'll win, but I think playoffs is over, and I always want to be an optimistic, but it's just a bit too far-fetched at this point.
Yeah, so Chris Davis has to say, love that team, Marcus, as you had a story behind each of them. Just, I'll let you take it away, Marcus. You need to.
Thank you very much, Chris. That really means a lot. They're just happy. They're just happy chaps. I think everyone in this whole City squad, are so down to earth with the fans. I haven't seen a more connected team for a long, long time. I mean, even players like Fabio, who've been at Liverpool, gone from not meeting any fans and just getting in his car and driving off to now spending half an hour with fans, so I've been told. Everyone has a story and everyone's just so lovely.
The king of the MKM Stadium, Lee Walker, says it is still possible. Do you know what, Lee? The other day after Middlesbrough, I was the first one to think, I don't know, I think it could be done. But after QPR, after that result, I do now have a tiny glimmer of hope. I think if results go our way this weekend, Watford's a winnable game. I mean, Leeds, they drew with them. But, I mean, if we can play like we did against QPR, I mean, who knows? It could all be to play for. And I genuinely think if we win this weekend, it'll come down to the final game of the season. I did book my ticket this week. I am going to be at Plymouth going on the Friday. I'm missing my mum's birthday. I shouldn't have said that. Slap on the wrist. But, yeah. She's at Take That tonight, so I won't be getting told off until she comes home tomorrow. So that is a good sign. Anyway, quickly moving on to exactly. This is my idea of a wonderful day out. Anyway, moving on. Kieran Webster, I'm still believing Hull City always do it the hard way. Correct. Look what happened when we went up through the playoffs at Sheffield Wednesday. Marcus, what were your feelings?
Anything can happen. Anything can happen, and that's the truth. You know, stranger things have happened in the Championship. Truly, I do think it will all go down to Coventry away. That is like the definer of our season. If we lose that, gone. We win that, still could be gone, but it gives us a bit of optimism. And, you know, it's been so many years as fans in the stadium where we haven't had something to play for come to this point of the season. You know, we're just enjoying ourselves, having a bit of fun, doing the conga at Bristol. But now we're nervous, you know, we're all bricking it. But it's something to be proud of. We're doing well this season and we're fighting for something that we never thought 3 or 4 years ago we'd ever get to this stage again. Rather, would we ever see Hull City again?
Exactly. And do you know what? You've hit the nail on the head with that. I think that's probably the best way to put it. I mean, doing that promotion party in West Park when we went up from League One, that's probably one of the happiest moments I've had. I know it was during COVID, and I shouldn't have probably been there, to be honest, quite frankly. But being there, it gives you that sense that everything was going to start coming back together again. And obviously, 18 months later? I can't remember. Something like my head's fried today. I've had a long day, guys, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, with everything that's happened with the takeover and the new squad and the new manager, everything's just fallen into place. Meggie has said, do you think that Bristol will have a chance against Norwich this weekend? Bristol do have one of the best forms in the Championship. Marcus, I'll let you answer this first.
Anis Mehmeti will score. What a player he is. I think it'll be 1-0. Bristol will win it and we'll get into playoffs last day. Up the Tigers.
I genuinely do hope that Bristol do us a favour. I saw Tom Griffin today. He put something on Twitter saying, I know we beat you in the 2008 playoff final. I know we've not shut up about it since, but please beat Norwich. And do you know what? I will be forever grateful for the second time if Bristol City do that again.
Scott Twine twats one in.
Imagine that.
Line.
Imagine a Twine free kick in the 93rd minute. That would go down. I mean, he never took off at Hull City, but I tell you what, he'd go down as a Hull City legend just for doing that. Chris Davis, whatever happens, it's been one of our best seasons in history. We have to be happy either way, in my opinion. Do you know what? I agree with you, Chris. We've had a lot of highs and a lot of lows. I mean, for me, this season has been one hell of a ride. I would have never have thought about it. Thought about this season being the season that it has been. I genuinely thought middle of the league this season, but we've definitely exceeded a lot of people's expectations, and I think we've just got it. Obviously, there's a few selections on some weeks where we could have changed it here and there, but definitely, I think it's been one hell of a ride. And let's just stick with the lads till the end, and let's see what happens.
100%. We need to make the most of the loans, though.
Oh, definitely. And obviously, Chris, again, I think West Brom is a team to catch. They have Leicester away and Sheffield Wednesday away to go. Marcus, thoughts on that?
Leicester have had some stinkers recently. Like, truly, Leicester away seems like a good fixture for a lot of teams at the moment. Sheffield Wednesday, it's hit and miss at Hillsborough. It depends what they're playing for, but at the moment, it is a massive game for them. So, you never know. It's weird because we were like 3 points clear of the playoffs once, and we were just happy days. We made incredible signings in January, and we've just bottled it. But you know, we can be happy. You know, I've enjoyed every game this season. We've got something to play for. Who knows what's happened? I'm not going to get stressed over it. I just want to go to Plymouth in my Peter Griffin costume and enjoy the day. It'll just be brilliant.
That is amazing. That I tell you what, I'm in two minds to do fancy dress or not, and I'm so tempted to put some out on my socials to see what people put, because if I do it, I mean, last time I went to the last away game of the season was, funnily enough, Bristol away, where I went as a traffic cone. I got put on TV, I got plastered everywhere, and didn't go down too great, but it's one of them. It happens. Either way, we're going to move on to my 5aside team now, because I don't want to talk about my traffic cone incident anymore. So let's move on. So moving on to my 5aside team for Hull City's present squad. So obviously, Marcus went with Matt Ingram. Obviously, you had a lovely story behind that. that decision, and I wanted to go with something a bit different. We have seen him play this season, but we haven't at the same time. So I've gone with this goalkeeper. Obviously, he came in January. It looks to be a bit of a character, so to say. I've been watching Tigers Plus, the way he's been playing his golf and stuff, and that is Ivo Pando. And I want to see him get a couple of minutes this season, because he seems like he's got a good bit of potential about him. I mean, the Fortuna Sittard fans were absolutely gutted when he left. Just shows the type of player that he is. I mean, I've watched his highlights and things like that. I mean, he was a bit unlucky against. I don't even know how to say the name. Is it Curacao? I don't know how to say it, but that we'll go with that. We'll go with that. But I think it'd be nice to see him get some minutes if obviously if the dream falls away from us in the next coming weeks. Marcus, thoughts on that?
You're optimistic, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm very optimistic, mate. I was optimistic last season, and look what happened. So it's one of them.
Never know. I'd love to see Ivo Panda play. I don't know if I've just butchered his name, but it just seems like an happy chap.
This comment has got me in stitches. Marcus, it's got to be done, surely. It's got to be done.
100%.
I reckon you go down as Hull City. Hull City. I think you'd go down as Hull City royalty if you did that, Marcus, to be fair.
I'm down. I genuinely want to do that.
I'm holding you to that now. I'm getting there on the Friday, so if I don't see you running around the stadium in it, I'll come and bring my outfit. I'll do whatever. Tiger Nicola, welcome back. Eddie, go to Plymouth in a fancy dress as a DJ, then you can pretend to be one. Do you know what? I actually might. There's a couple of like DJs that I could probably go as, but I think I might have a week off. I mean, I've got a couple more this month to do. I've got obviously Ipswich, and then I've got a couple more gigs here, there, and everywhere to do. So I will. If everyone else who I'm going with wants to do it, I will do it as well. So,
dress up as Ali G and get your decks on. We sound.
I reckon I could. After what happened to my mate last season, though, in Northampton service station, I want to sort of avoid the Ali G costume after he got headbutted by a Stoke fan. That didn't go down too well.
There was worse costumes at Luton. I'll put it like that.
I was in Portugal, so I didn't see it like any of the costumes. So
the pride of Leeds was in there.
Oh God! So moving on to my centre, I say centre back. We'll call them defenders. I won't say obviously one of them is a centre back, one of them is another position in defence. So with this player, I've chosen Louis Coyle. I might come under a bit of stick here, but hear me out. It's 5-a-side, right? He puts everything on the line. If you're playing 5-a-side, depending if it's indoor on a wooden pitch with a laminate or the AstroTurf, he's going in hell for leather. He's coming in 2 foot, so he's doing this, that, and the other. And he'll be a nimble and quick player in 5-a-side. He'll put 110% in. He'll be up and down the pitch like God knows what. And do you know what? He's a Hull lad as well, and he's one of the nicest blokes you'll meet. He's just so down to earth. He's so humble. Obviously, being a Hull lad, he did play for Leeds, but he's come to the right team in Yorkshire. He knows what it's all about. He has done a few maulings with the Tigers, a couple of victories under his belt. Obviously, wouldn't want to mess with his brother either, Tommy. He's a bit of an hard boxer, so wouldn't want to mess with that. But Marcus, thoughts on that one?
I think the Coyle family is just incredible. You've got Rocco Coyle, you've got Tommy Coyle and Louis Coyle. Just honestly, you can't beat them.
Don't forget Joe as well, the golfer. So there's Joe who plays golf, Louis who plays for City, Rocco who plays for City, and Tommy who used to do boxing. So it's one hell of a sporty family, I'll tell you that.
Oh no, he's incredible, is Louis. I think he's probably our best player this season. Like, you get rid of the skills, because a lot of people in this day and age, I'm saying that as if I'm old, I'm not particularly this day and age, my day and age, people want skills, they want fancy shooting, they want people hitting it from halfway line. But Louis Coyle playing with 2 broken ribs last season, you know, after everything he's doing, he deserves a plaque, he deserves a statue, he give him the keys to this MKM Stadium. He's just quality.
Definitely. And Lee Walker has to agree with you as well. If you're getting the king of the MKM Stadium agreeing with you, you know you're doing something right, Marcus. So I will agree with you there. I will agree with you there. Let's see what happens. I hope he gets some sort of award, player like at the end of season awards. Let's see what happens there.
I think Lee should get his own statue. Lee is incredible.
Lee and Johnny Ayton at the front of the MKM Stadium. I reckon that is a statue to be seen. Moving on, and I was saying to you pre-show, I've gone very loyal to the city here, and there is a story behind it. A few people have heard about the story, but I've gone with the vice captain. We've gone for a solid leadership at the back. We've gone with the captain and the vice captain. Gone with Jacob Greaves. Me and Jacob went to school with each other, sat next to each other in Miss Allison's geography class. We had some good laughs in there, I'll tell you now. But like I was saying,
geography.
He was a lot smarter than me. Let's put it that way. I like I was saying to you, there was we played obviously Wolverhampton versus South Hunsley, local derby for the school's football, and it was always Jacob versus Matty Jacobs, and it's just a baller. A lot of our. He's a very attacking. He reminds me of Harry Maguire in some sense. Very attacking from the back. Knows how to ping a ball out left, right, and centre. You know, it's one of them ones. But yeah, I've chosen Jacob Greaves to finish my defence off, because I feel like with these two, either Greaves you can sit back and Kyle can go forward, or vice versa. Kyle can sit back, Greaves you can go forward. So, thoughts on that back line?
I think it's incredible, but I've just realised that I've just picked random players. Statistically, right, I don't think I'm winning this, but you never know.
Okay, it's going to go down to the comments, isn't it? We're going to have to wait and see. But Jake, thank you for the big ups on that one. I was quite proud of that. I mean, you got the first pick as well, so I was like buzzing with that. Yeah, I have to agree with you, Chris. If he goes, it's a big if. That's one of them. If we can keep him, I will be buzzing. I'll be over the moon. But let's see what happens. Summer. If we go up, we're keeping him. Let's put it. I want to say we'll be keeping him if we go up. So
with Peterborough, with Ronnie Edwards, you know, they got relegated, and he's done 2 seasons in League One. And for me, he's Premier League quality. So there's always a chance. And I think if we sign the right players, it'll go right down to the very last day. But if we sign the right players, and Jacob's confident that we'll get promoted, I think he stays. Genuinely, I really 100%. Hope he does.
100%. So, moving on to my midfield, I've gone with Fabio Carvalho. Right. Saying this, I've got 2 big lads, 2 little lads so far. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like height wise, not like. Do you know what I mean? I've gone with Fabio Carvalho because I feel like he's got that flair when you need him, like when you need him to turn it on, and he's a good playmaker as well. And in 5aside, I reckon he's got the ability to just slip it around the corner, and my striker will always be at the end of that pass to tap it in the 5aside nets. But like you said, like he's just a nice bloke, isn't he? He's just spending time with the fans. You've seen it. He's like Panda. He has a great golfing ability as well. I mean, I've been watching Tigers Plus, and he does have some great golfing ability.
I reckon Fabio's that guy in 5aside with his GoPro on and just doing 5-star skills have asked everybody. The one guy you absolutely hate. No, I'm sure he's. So.
It'll be the outfield version of Ben Foster. Will have the GoPro on and all that. Meggie says, I'm praying that Fabio stays at the end of the season. What a player. I have to agree with you. Obviously, I saw another article this week that whoever the new Liverpool manager is going to be, they're going to want to see how Morton and Fabio do. For me, I do hope we get him back. He just seems to... Well, I put a tweet out after the QPR game. The way he was looking at the badge and holding it, it gives you that stick that one line in your head. Never fall in love with a lone player, and obviously if he goes back and doesn't come back, do you know what? I appreciate him. He's been so good for us. He's brought something that we never thought we'd see at the MKM Stadium. I never thought. Do you know what? Truthfully, I never thought I'd ever see a player of his caliber come to the MKM Stadium.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, to play for us, I mean that's a different thing, you know. And he's just such a nice guy, you know. I mean, like you were saying, he spends time with the fans. You see him doing like all the PA like public appearances for the club, and he just seems to be a really good, really good lad.
I think he's fallen back in love with football at all, and I think,
definitely.
To be honest, right, I think he could come for another loan. Maybe not full season, but until January, we can offer him so much. You know, Liam Rosenior has helped him fall back in love with the sport. So I don't see why not. No, he's just happy.
Yeah.
I'm sure people will ask him last game at season, and he'll give the answer as, I don't know, and then never see him again, like all the footballers do.
Yeah, it'll be gutting to see the back of him. But Chris, to be fair, Eddie, you've got this one: strong defence and Premier League attack. I have to agree with you, but let's see what the attack is. I mean, Marcus actually could beat me in some respects. He could beat me.
Jaden runs rings around everyone on that team. Can I just say? He's the best player in the world. He's just incredible.
Chris, you're on fire tonight, mate. You've given us loads of talking points as well, which is amazing. So we've fallen in love with three of our loan players: Delap, Morton, and Carvalho.
I fell in love with Vinagre.
To be fair, I did as well. But as Chris said, we've fallen in love with three of our loan players. There we go. My strike force, Liam Delap up top. I reckon he's clinical in front of goal for the 5aside team. I reckon he's got it in the bag. I mean, when he came back on, when he was on the touchline on Saturday, the face, his smile was just you could just see he was buzzing. And do you know what? I genuinely heard. Obviously, we hadn't had much. We haven't seen much of him in the second half of this season. But I do think if we play our cards right in the summer, I reckon we could probably get him back again next year, hopefully, because he needs that extra push on. You know, like he needs that extra. What do you call it? Extra like minutes and stuff under his belt, and who knows? I can't see him getting in over Haaland at Man City. So I mean, I'd say
season we signed Seri in summer, and we had that big spending haul. Southampton put in a 16 million bid in for Delap. It was genuinely mad. And then he went on loan to the Championship. They rejected it to give him some minutes because they thought he'd smash it up. You never know. And now he's worth probably 2 or 3. I genuinely think we could get, if we play our cards right and sell, if we have to sell Greaves and Jaden, we can get Delap and Morton back and maybe Fabio on loan.
Well, this is the thing. You've got to realise we have all these players that are out on loan at the moment. We've got Oscar out at Bahia. Is it Bahia, I think? Is that how you say it, in Brazil?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'll end up leaving, which frees up a spot there up top. Delap could come in there. Obviously, Ryan Woods, I reckon he'll be going, so that frees up even more money to sort of bring Carvalho back on loan.
Longman.
Ryan Longman's been tearing it up as well, hasn't he, at Millwall? I mean, a few bangers here and there. So he's a big fan. I'm a big fan of him. So let's see how that goes. Tiger Nicolay says nearly as good as Liverpool, nearly as good as a Liverpool loan sign as Lazar Markovic. What was the game when Markovic played for us and he scored? What was? I remember. I wanted the game because I think I was seeing my nana in hospital. I think. No, don't worry, mate. But I can remember I was in her hospital room at Hull Royal, and I remember him scoring, and I remember I could hear the stadium from the hospital. I remember that. That was like my early memory that I had of him. So it was one of them. Yeah, Lee, I agree. He was class. Like it was unbelievable to see him back. I mean, he was probably a bit shaky and a bit worried. You know, one of them ones. He'd just come back from a bit of a long-term injury, but I was buzzing to see him back. He just seemed it looked to me as if he felt like he was back at home, which is good to see for a player. I don't know if you agree with that, Marcus.
Oh, 100%. And the smiley gaze when we said we want him to stay, you could just tell he was chuffed. Like a lot of players, when asked that question, and they just sort of do that little clap, and you know, like Carl Darlow, we want you to stay, he'll just clap. Whereas Delap, he just seems like he wants to be here. Like for the first time, we've got a team that wants to play for the badge. Like Fabio Carvalho, and Morton, Delap. I feel like they would die for this club this season. Like, we've had a few loan signings, Nebioe, you just don't want them there. They just don't want to be here. They just take a spot up. Whereas these want to be here. And same with Noah Ohio. He seems like a passionate lad. Doubt we'll ever see him again, but he seems happy, doesn't he?
Talking point, actually, speaking of Noah Ohio, did you see him on the Champions League last night?
Yeah, I'm sure he was persuading a certain man to come to Hull. I'm sure we'll see it in news in a few days.
Yeah. I saw it. Like, obviously, Bellingham was doing his post-match press conference, and then all of a sudden, the camera pans to him walking to his mates, and I just see Ohio stood there. I was like, "What? What is going on here?" I was like, "What is happening here?" It's like, obviously, I know they're like quite good friends anyway, aren't they? There's him, Romeo Becker. Is it Romeo Becker who plays for Brentford, and Jude Bellingham? That's their like three of, like, so to say, their friendship group, which is pretty sick to see. So I was buzzing with that. Anyway, moving swiftly on, because Bellingham doesn't play for Hull City. Mike, maybe one day, who knows? Out of all the loan players, Delap is the most likely to sign permanent. We'll get him for about 5 million. Do you know what? If in capital letters we do sign him, that would be one of the best bits of business we do in the summer, I think, because he's a proven striker. He can find the net, and all the fans love him. Like, I don't think I've seen one bit of criticism about him since he started playing for the club. What about you?
Personally, I think in the summer, if we sign, there's 4 players I'd love for us to sign, which would be Delap, Chris Willock on a free, Kwame Poku from Peterborough if we sell Jacob Greaves, and then Morton on loan again. But I just love Morton. There's also like players like Ronnie Edwards, but we have to be realistic. I know us Hull fans like to be very out there on Twitter, but I think we need to stay within our boundaries. You'll see someone saying Amad Diallo on loan. You just know it's coming, but
it's coming. It's like when what was the one? It was not this summer just gone, but the summer before that. It was when it was this summer maybe, when someone had made up the rumour that Nawakame was going to sign from Trabzonspor. I was like, so he's gone from being on a speed video real quick to maybe signing for Hull City, and I thought
Dele Alli coming as well.
Yeah, I didn't say. Some of these shouts have been absolutely outrageous. Kieran Webster, I'll get him to sign the contract if he comes into my work. I tell you what, if he comes into your work and he signs a contract, hats off to you. I appreciate that. That'll be insane.
Get a little piece of paper and fold the contract over and just get the white bit and just ask him to sign it as an autograph. Either that or just forge his signature, which I don't condone. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry.
We can't be doing any forgery. Oh, the dog's barking. I don't. I'm so
the dog don't like that idea, does he?
Yeah, the dog's lost his head.
What's the dog called?
Rocco. Funny enough. I don't even think my brother's home from playing golf, so that's great timing. Here's the next one from Tiger Nicolay. Anyway, interesting to see if Harry Vaughan comes back in or goes out on loan again. Read the article about him not getting much game time at Bristol, which I think I saw the article as well, and I'm a bit gutted for the lad. Obviously, the injury. Am I right in saying he sustained an injury down there, or he had an injury up here which has hindered his performance slightly?
Yeah.
He will. I think it'll affect him. Like, obviously, it'll affect his performance, this, that, and the other. Might give him a bit of a confidence knock, but I'd like to see him, even if he went like to Rotherham next season under is it Steve Evans now, who Rotherham just got as a new manager. I think that'll be a good way to go for him. And there's a lot of comments coming in. We're now on 102 people as well across the board. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's tuned in right now for the Hull City 5aside. I will drop the call-in link into the comments again for you guys to copy and paste into your bars, and you can join to have a word. Tom Brown, opinions on Giles. Do we try and sign him?
After that chant you made, yes, incredible.
Was that when Ryan Giles runs down the wing? Was that one?
It is.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a sound guy. I think from what we've seen of him, he seems a very down to earth player. I know he got a bit of stick from Middlesbrough fans. I go to England with a couple of the guys, and they were saying that he knows how to attack, but doesn't know how to defend. In my opinion, I feel like I've seen nothing of what they've said. I think he's amazing at attacking and amazing at defending as well. I don't know what you guys think about that in the stream, but please let us know in the comments down below. Either way, also, guys, I want to open it up to you as well. Who is winning the 5-a-side game out of the two of us? I want to know who's winning the 5-a-side game. Obviously, the people who've been in the stream, you've seen my squad. I had Pando in goal. I had Greaves and Coyle at the back, with Cavalier in the midfield and Delap up top. And for Marcus,
just Jaden. Yeah, just say Jaden. That's all you need to say. I think the winner's pretty clear on that one. You can't beat him, man. To be fair, right, if we're talking 5-a-side, Matty Jacobs has got the legs for it. You know, he's young,
exactly
he's quick, and then you've got players like Morton. He'll put some proper challenges in.
I was surprised none of us picked Regan Slater, to be honest.
I went more for like players that I've spoken to. I didn't realise we were doing it by ability, but I wouldn't change anything. I truly wouldn't. I love Matt Ingram.
This is a good point, actually. Will be interesting to see what happens to Xavier Simons if we don't get Morton back. I think it'd be good to see Xavier Simons back. Actually, obviously he was at Fleetwood. He's had a season. Is it season long loan? Is it? I can't. Yes,
no
I
idea.
think it was a season long loan at Fleetwood. I mean, I saw him. Funny enough, in Asda on Kingswood a couple of weeks ago when I was going to football training.
Getting out nice for tea.
And I don't know. I didn't see what he had. I was like, I sort of did that, like, do when you look and then you do like a double take.
Yeah.
It was one of them ones, and I sort of like caught eye contact and went, "Oh, all right," like that. Nothing came out. I was like, "What is going on here?" So that was a good one. That was probably the most embarrassing moment I've had being a Hull City fan.
Quality.
Eddie, you would. Marcus' team are all having a lovely chat with Marcus on the sidelines.
Quality.
That was yeah, that's a good point actually. What are you like this is I've just seen a comment that's come through, and it's this. What are your thoughts about the FA Cup change which has been announced for next season? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think it's disgraceful. Like, truly, without the FA Cup and the replays, like, for example, Kidderminster when they played West Ham, you've got Boreham Wood when they made it to like the quarterfinals or like round 5. You've got teams like Wigan who've gone and won it. Like, the lower teams, you know, they won't get that opportunity anymore, and the money could actually save them clubs. Like, I know they've put something in like 30 million to grassroots football, but there's non-league teams in like step 7 or 8 which are literally funded by the FA Cup. That is literally when a club in the lower leagues get to a certain point, the money they will produce and TV revenue, it's life-changing for them. Yeah, the Premier League, they'll play a couple more games, but if they were that bad, why are they getting replays? You know what I mean? Just I don't like it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I feel like, look, I saw John Atkinson put something up on Twitter the other day, or today, or it was Josh Senior, one of the two, and they were saying when we went back to Arsenal for a replay, we took them to their place. Obviously, the result didn't go. What was it? I can't remember. It was either way. It was a Premier League side. I can't remember what club it was, but we took them back to their place. And do you know what? It's like what everyone says. It's the magic of the cup. Where's the magic going to be now? Do you know? Unless like I don't know, Man City play. Oh, I don't know. The unthinkable has happened. North Ferriby have got to the third round of the FA Cup, right?
Yeah.
And Man City have come to North Ferriby. They've dropped an absolute stinker, right? And Ferriby they score a last-minute equaliser, right? Ferriby have got young lads on the bench who have probably never played against a Premier League player in their life. And Ferriby are going to not have the legs, you know? And Man City will probably have Erling Haaland sat on the bench at North Ferriby, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to have the legs to bring on. Do you know? And if it goes to a replay, this is the magic of the cup. People will go and travel, and it could, like you say, it's a life-changing amount of money for a club. if they get far in that competition. I just think it's a bit awful.
I think one thing to add is you see so many of these top 6 fans complaining about this, like saying, "Oh, we don't need replayers" and all that jazz. But when it came to the Super League and it was the top 6 involved, you know, then they start getting a bit edgy. But when it comes to anything but that, they don't care about anything else but the top 6, and it's disgraceful, you know. Someone put on Twitter the other day, why don't we do the Super League? Get them going, have Division 1 to 4 again, FA Cups proper, just enjoy themselves. Because I think at the end of the day, top 6 are ruining football for everybody.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
I agree. And I feel like the money in football, we won't even see the half of it. I don't think we'll see half of the money that's being spent. And I just feel like you get all these big 6 clubs where you got your Man United, you've got your Chelsea's, Arsenal's, Liverpool's, Man City's, the lot. They're splashing cash like it's going out of business. Do you know, they're spending money left, right, and centre. And like it's a big topic. Man City, 115 charges, and they're not playing by the rules. We, as Hull City, we will play by the rules. Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of them. Like, we could come up against these big 6 clubs, and we might absolutely play a blinder. Like, it's like what I said for the other thing, and we might just not have the quality to beat them in the final few minutes. Do you know? It's one of them.
Yeah,
but
it's like the quality in the Championship to the Prem now. You've seen it this season. You know, you look at the relegation, Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United. It's just not fair. I think the Premier League teams are pulling away, and then there's just a constant battle in the Championship. And to be truthful, I'd rather stay here. I know I'd like to do Prem for one season, complete all the grounds, but Championship and lower is the way to go. Football League, I can't sit and watch a full Premier League game on the TV because VAR ruins it. The players dive all over the shop, and it's just, it's petty. Whereas in the Championship, you've got diehard fans, players playing for the club, and you don't have to worry about things. You can celebrate a goal. You know, it's just, gonna have a rant here.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, we'll stick on the topic, but this is a good point that Tiger Nicolay has to say. Should just give the teams the option, if after the draw is made, if one or both sides vote for playing a replay, then the replay is played. If both teams vote no, then there's no replay. I think that's quite a good. Like, why don't you go and wait for the FA? Like, I reckon that initiative would work very, very well, and I do think that's a good point to make, because if both clubs want a replay, which realistically, like we said, if lower teams are playing the big teams, they'll want that opportunity to play them twice, you know, and it's experience for them as well. Like, I think that's a very good idea and a very good point to make.
I hope it goes straight to pens, not extra time, because then that gives an opportunity for non-league teams to just batter anyone, because penalties is just 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I saw something the other day, and it was like things that should be brought back to football, and it was bring back golden goal. I reckon. Imagine that, bringing back golden goal. It'd be insane. Lee Walker has put Super Johnny Hayton said to me the other week he prefers the Championship to the Premier League.
Johnny Hayton's the man. He knows what he's talking about.
Johnny Hayton is the man, and I will be not controversial, but I do enjoy the Championship. I know I say I want to go to the Premier League and this, that, and the other, but I've made the best memories of my life in the Championship this season. So I don't get me wrong, I'd love to do what I've done in the Premier League, but the Championship, like some of the away days we've been on, like looking at next year's the potential league as well, that could be one hell of a league. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd love to be in the Championship. Not again next season. Obviously, everyone wants to be in the Prem, but I do prefer the Championship because you don't have all these big teams. I mean, I was watching an interview with Bournemouth owner literally yesterday morning, and the way that they're going about things is perfect. Like,
and their owner, like that geezer from Creed. What's it called?
Michael B. John. Michael B. John has a share in the club,
right.
but there's a guy who took over a company and he took it to FTSE 500 or top 500 companies as well. But he's not as rich as Murat Ulker. There we go. And Tiger Nicolay, I can't work for the FA because I'm not corrupt to take brown envelopes from the Premier League. That idea I mentioned doesn't suit the big boys' agenda. There we go. No more words on that from me. I'll leave that at that. So, a roundup of tonight's shirt. I just want to say a huge thank you to our new host, Markus, for joining us.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you on more weeks. Obviously, the family, the Hull Say It Best podcast family, is now growing. We are, like I said, was it last week? Last week or the week before? We do have a lot of big ideas up our sleeve. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that is tuned in right now. The 125 people that have joined. It has been a pleasure tonight. Obviously, going forward, like I say, I've got some huge plans. Markus is on the team. Markus, if you just want to give a brief rundown about how your first night as a host on the show felt.
Well, truly, I was bricking it. I'm not good at hosting things, but I've enjoyed it. Genuinely, I said it when I was just as a guest. This podcast does it for the right reasons, you know. You're not doing it for recognition, for awards. You're doing it to bring the whole community together and closer, and that's a moral I'd love to stick by, and I just think it's incredible. It's inspirational, and I've enjoyed every minute of speaking to you, Ed. It's been brilliant.
Thank you, mate. And it's a pleasure to have you on board now. I mean, no doubt I'll see you at Ipswich at home, maybe Coventry away if the prices come down, as it is.
Oh, it's disgraceful, that, isn't it?
It's disgraceful. But who'd want to be paying £30 to go and watch Hadji Wright? That's all I'm going to say. Oh, anyway, that is the end of tonight's show. I hope everyone has loved it. I mean, I definitely have loved it. I hope the technical side of things hasn't been too sketchy. I'm pretty sure Matt will be watching this back when he's back. And yeah, anyway, guys, this has been Eddie, and that has been Markus. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Peace out, guys, and we'll see you soon.